We have some very exciting news to share with you today, so let's get started. As everybody knows, technology truly has the power to redefine the guest experience that I'm not sure what that was. Technology truly has the power to redefine the guest experience, and we use technology in many ways in the theme park and attractions world, from virtual reality to print-at-home ticketing to mobile ticketing to virtual queuing. And at Accesso, we think that's really what we're all about. We are here to find ways to bring technology to the attractions and theme park environment and the water park environment and museums and ski resorts so that the guests can have a better experience and the operators can have a more profitable and a more optimized business. At the cornerstone of our product portfolio is the Accesso Low Queue solution, which is our virtual queuing product. And for those of you not familiar with virtual queuing, essentially what it does is it allows our technology to wait in the line for the guest. So they choose their place in line, and our system waits for them and lets them know when it's their turn to enjoy the attraction. So they can go on and enjoy other experiences, enjoy food and beverage, and do some shopping, just have a good time while the system waits in line for them. We deliver that through 3 different technologies. The first of them is our QBot, which many of you may have used at one of the parks around the world that use this device. It's a very proven piece of hardware. It's extremely durable. It has a sort of circa 1999 retro-looking form factor, but it works really well. It leverages what is called a Zigbee network. So it doesn't use Wi-Fi. It uses its own little proprietary method of communicating, and all the QBots in the park talk to each other, and that's how the QBot and how the guest gets their updates, is by relaying that information from one guest to another. We also have a Q-Band, which is a wearable product that is suitable for water parks. It performs the same function as the QBot, but for a wet environment. So the guest goes to a kiosk, they select their attraction, they join that virtual queue, and they tap the Q-Band against the kiosk to register that ride on their Q-Band, and they can then monitor the countdown timer on the band to let them know when it's their turn to enjoy the attraction. And then we have Q-Smart, which uses the guest's own smartphone that they have in their pocket to facilitate the virtual queuing. So the guest goes to a mobile optimized web page, they select the attraction that they would like to enjoy, they choose their spot in the virtual queue, and the timer starts. And they can monitor their position on that smart device that they brought with them to the park. So we have 3 ways we deliver virtual queuing through these devices. And we stepped back a few years ago and said, what's the future going to look like? How are we thinking about smartphones? How are we thinking about the Q-Band? And how are we thinking about our legacy QBot product that is honestly nearing end of life? And we decided we needed to build a new hardware product to complement the guest experience as they go to various theme parks and water parks and other attractions. So we set out with a few goals in mind. We said we need a device that is a single form factor. We need adults and children to be able to use the same device. We don't want to have different sizes or different shapes based upon the guest. We need a device, very importantly, that can operate completely standalone. So you don't need a smartphone with you in order for the device to operate. It needs to be durable and very easy to use. These experiences are fairly rigorous when you're in a theme park or a roller coaster or going down a water slide. We need for that device to be able to withstand whatever a guest may run into in a theme park. From a business perspective, we needed to support 2 methods of virtual queuing. First is our premium model, where the guest pays a premium to enjoy the virtual queuing experience in the park. And the second is the idea that every attraction in the park is queueless, and the guests can use this device to manage how they wait for the attraction. So it needs to be able to support both of those models. We also want to use modern communications technology. Technology has progressed so much in the past decade. We wanted to tap into all those new technologies that are available and leverage them in the biggest way possible. And we also said, our devices today support virtual queuing, but what else could they do within that platform? And how do we think about all of those opportunities as we go forward? We also stepped back and looked at technology today. We have Apple Watches, we have Amazon Echoes, we have GPS systems in almost every car that's on the road today, and we have smartphones in all of our pockets. And when we looked at our product lineup, we realized that the current version of the QBot that is out there today debuted in 2007. That is the same year the iPhone 1 was introduced. So we realized that we had a little bit of catching up to do in terms of our hardware. But what we realized was there were a few basic consumer factors that we needed to keep in mind. First of all, nobody wants to wait in line. We know that to be true whether it's at Starbucks or whether it's waiting for the next attraction at a theme park. We know that no one wants to worry about wallets or deal with cash in their pocket. Deal with cash in their pocket or deal with keeping up with a wallet as they go throughout their day. We see millions of people pay for their coffee every morning by scanning their phone at the point of sale. We also don't want to fumble to get into things or to gain access. We start our cars every morning largely by the press of a button. We aren't placing a key in the ignition anymore. We want to tap to go into our hotel room. We want easy access to things without combinations or complicated codes. Photography is also at the centerpiece of our lives. I looked this morning and I have 11,186 pictures on my phone, and that is just from the last 18 months. So photographs are really important to us every day, and consumers expect a way to keep track of those in a really easy manner. We also are in a very real-time society. We're getting updates, we're getting text messages, we're checking social media. We want to know what's happening, when it's happening, so we can get the most out of our day and the most out of all of our experiences. So we stepped back and said, all right, we know what the technology landscape looks like. We know what we need to accomplish from a business and what our clients are looking to accomplish. And we also understand what consumers are looking for in today's modern technology world. And so we set out on an approach using some of the best technology partners in the world to come up with our brand new product. And I'm very excited to announce and share with you today our latest innovation, Accesso Prism. This is truly the new standard in smart park technology. As you can see in the image here, this is a wearable device with a touch screen that when the guest places this on their arm, they literally have the entire park operation on their wrist. It will support their virtual queuing. They can select the attraction and they can monitor their place in the virtual queue from the screen on the device. They can receive updates. If that queue time changes or the attraction goes out of service, that information can be updated and shared with the guest on the screen on the device. They can go wallet free in the park. They can register their payment information and use the device to pay for their ice cream or pay for the midway games as they're walking through the park by tapping the device. They can use it to tag their photographs throughout their experience, whether that's a ride photography capture or whether that's a roving photographer you may encounter as you're entering the park. We're all familiar with tagging our photos on Facebook, and this allows the guests to tag all of their photos as they're collected throughout their experience in a theme park or a water park. It also has messaging, which we think is really cool, because we now have a way to communicate directly to the guest right on their arm with this wearable device. We can send them updates about the park operation. We can send them specials on food and beverage. We can send them additional shows that may be added, or if the park hours have been extended. Any information you need to share with these guests can be broadcast to them directly on their wearable. And importantly, it can be used for access, whether that's entering the park through the front gate, whether that's accessing their lockers where they may have their valuables stored, or whether it's accessing the resort hotel room if they're staying on property at your particular location. And behind the scenes on all of that, we're collecting a lot of data. And our attraction operators can collect a lot of data, and they can use that information about the guest journey through the day and the experiences they've enjoyed, how long they spent enjoying those experiences, which stores they may have visited, how long they spent in those stores, and they can use that information to provide more effective operations and more effective marketing. So to talk about the device for a minute, we're slightly proud of this, so I will try not to go too long. But to hit a few of the key features, first and most importantly, it is completely standalone. You do not need to tether this device to a smartphone. It works completely on its own. It has an extended battery life. You do not charge this device. We expect it to operate for some 200 days of use in a park environment without charging. It's very easy to use. It's a touchscreen interface. There are no buttons. You simply swipe your finger up and down or left and right. Water on your hands, sunscreen on your hands, it doesn't matter. This device is built to work in a theme park environment. And importantly, last but not least, it's completely brandable. So this device can be built to match the theming of your particular environment with the strap and the color on the lens. From a technology standpoint, to take you through that, it starts off with a Gorilla Glass lens. This thing is not going to break. We know that is a very important factor in the theme park or water park environment, and we went to Gorilla Glass to solve that challenge. And behind that Gorilla Glass is a capacitive touchscreen, so the guest doesn't need to worry about buttons. They can simply swipe. Inside the device, it's packed with 3 radios that allow the payments, the access, and the messaging to work across your property, whether it's using Bluetooth, whether it's using RFID, whether it's using NFC, or whether it's using a long-range radio to accomplish that. All that is contained inside the device. It has a high-resolution LCD display so the guests can get those updates. And importantly, it has a vibration motor inside the device. So when you receive an update, you know to check the device for whatever message that is. So we hope and think we have covered all the possible things you might need when you set out on your day in a theme park. And we are very excited today to share with you the new Accesso Prism device, which we believe is going to deliver a more carefree, more hassle-free, and a more weight-free experience for your guests. Our team is standing by to show you the device up close and personal and to answer any questions that you may have. And for the members of the media, we will have press kits available at the front here in just a few minutes. So thank you all for joining us very much, and we look forward to sharing it with you today.